Obviously, he's going to make me use this. All right, so just a few announcements before we begin on our side of it. Last time I was here, we were in the middle of the promotional process and it was successful. So on November 4th, I'm being promoted to sergeant and a new senior will be appointed up here. Thank you very much.
Congratulations!
Woo! Back on the 13th of December, they're just a new officer for you, so I'm not going, I'm not leaving the city, I'm not retiring, but I'll be working weekends on patrol. So I'll make the effort to come out here and introduce your new senior, talk to you about who he is. They haven't even decided yet, and that'll be coming in the next couple of weeks, and we'll find out who it is. Also on next Thursday, the 19th of October, we're having a Tippet Cop over at Redneck Robin. Officers will be out acting as servers, having a good old time, so come out, support us. All the donations you do are tax deductible, and they go towards the Special Olympics, so I look forward to seeing you guys out there. With that, I'm going to start off with Mike Wood. He's our traffic officer up here. He's our lead traffic. So whenever I have traffic problems, I always go, hey Mike, what can you do to help me out? So he's going to talk a little bit about our traffic issues up in Riverpark.
Thank you. We need this for the camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
See a video guy over there?
All right, because I have a really loud voice, so
I tried it out without the microphone.
okay, well, we'll try both here. How's that? Is that better? Perfect. I'm going to pass these out real quick, and then take it from you, sir. You got one here. One more. I think most of everybody got one. There you go. Thank you guys. And is anyone else at all? Right up front. Sorry about that.
That's all right, thank you.
Okay. I'll leave it here for the camera.
Sir.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So once again, my name is Mike Wood. I'm with Officer RPNC Traffic. I've been a police officer about 10 years now. I currently assigned to the traffic office, so I'm a motor officer. I'm cross-trained as a collision investigator, so I investigate fatal scenes and major crime scenes and stuff like that. I'm currently part of the DUI enforcement team, so it's one of my other main roles, so you'll see me up here a lot. I coordinate the Know Your Limit campaign. You've heard of that online. That's where I bring a couple breathalyzers. I go to some restaurants. I'll walk up to you and say, hey, you know what each alcoholic drink does to you, and I'll give you an option if you want to give a sample and see what your body does. So it's a free program. It's pretty cool. We go up to a lot of the collection. We're working with the collection to make that happen. So you'll see us up there about once a month or so. So if you see it on our website, usually we'll post it that we're going up there. We usually post where we're going. Come on by. You fly me down. Even if you've got nothing in your system, that's fine with me. Come on down and show your support for the program so as other people encourages them to do the same thing. I've currently been assigned up here. This is my first time up here in the north end. Before I went into traffic, I worked as a field training officer. I'm currently a hostage negotiator. I've done a whole kinds of things, but one of the biggest things I've done was I was a district officer. So before they formulated the neighborhood policing team, they used to have a district policing team where I oversaw the south end of Oxnard, so the gang problems, quality of life, the traffic trends, things like that is what I handled as well before I blossomed into the neighborhood policing team today. So I've had quite a little bit of background with the neighborhood policing strategies and the long-term problem solutions. I currently now assigned the north end, so I have 3 beats in my area. Not only do I have Riverpark, but I also have beat 11s and 12, so I basically have the whole north end. I have 2 other people with me. I have Officer Manny Perez, he's one of our lead motor officers, and I have our newest guy, Adam Aguilar, who's currently in motor school, so cross your fingers because he has another week left. If he doesn't fall down, it comes. I think you already broke one, I can't remember. So, what I gave you guys was a map, and I'm not going to spend too much time up here. I usually bring something like this with me to my community meetings, what you'll see on the map. It usually has, what I did was I actually spread it out. So I put from June to now, to October, I was trying to go for like a 6-month span, we're almost there. I wanted to see how many crashes we had up here in this area. When I did the research on it, I noticed that there was only a few in the neighborhoods. Most of them were along the arterial streets. Like, I think Town Center, Oxford Boulevard had a few of them. Vineyard Forest Park had a couple of them. So a lot of the outskirt ones, even though it's considered Riverpark, it's right on the border there. But if you look in there, you'll see only a couple on Forest Park Boulevard itself and the roundabouts. I think there's only 2 of them, or 3 of them really. We had a student that got hit by a car, I think last month in front of right over here, so we're addressing that as well. I put in the top box, and I apologize my glasses are on, but I can still read with my vision. I put a couple of things called PCS, PCS are primary collision factors, things that cause a crash. So I put stuff like the 3 top things I saw, which was a right-of-way violation, meaning like somebody cut somebody off, didn't yield to pedestrian, and also improper turning movement, like made an unsafe turn. So all in all, I noted there was 13 crashes up here, and I only noted there's about 4 DUI arrests within the neighborhood. So what I mean by that is, there weren't, even though we arrest people that come out of the bars and they go on the freeway or they go on Oxford Boulevard and say, hey, where were you drinking at? They might tell me somewhere up near here. In the actual neighborhood itself, we made 4 DUI arrests within the past like 4 or 5 months here. So that's the main part of it on what's happening in the neighborhood. I'm currently working with the city interim engineer about putting up proper speed signs, signage, lighting, engineering, proper concerns like that. Maher, I can't pronounce his last name, that saved my life. I have his email address if you need it. He's the person who oversees all the signage, lighting, speed bumps, speed signs, all that stuff is in his department. What I do is I help look at some ideas and I analyze it for him and provide him some information needed. I'm actually meeting with him tomorrow. We're going over the speed survey, which shows what should be as per the speed limit on a street. So I'll be showing him several streets, including up here in Riverpark, Forest Park Boulevard, American River, and I'll be showing him some streets to have him take a look at it to see if we need to put signage up, what the signage is going to be, and what the speed limit might be. So I can always give you guys, if you guys see my email address on here, mike.wood@oxfordpd.org. You can email me, I can provide you his info if you want, or to the chair, and you guys can contact him if you guys would like to and ask more questions. I had somebody ask about speed bumps recently, and I provided him some information as well. So with that said, last thing I want to put in is the 311 app. I assume you guys probably use that or heard of it. If you've not, take a look at it. It's a really good way to report things, especially abandoned vehicles. That's one of the big things. I work a lot of the extra enforcement up here. So when I go up here, I usually have my usual spots where I'll pull up and I'll see the car that has the tire with like chalk marks, all, I'm at one car now where I have like one spot left before I got the entire wheel. So I do pay attention to what goes on up here. I have 2 traffic cadets, those are the light blue shirt people that drive the trucks. I do have 2 of them that I oversee that work this area, so you're going to see some stuff, like next week I'm conducting a speed survey analysis along Forest Park and roundabouts, so you're going to see those message board trailers up there. They may not display anything because they have built-in radars on them, and they're actually going to be capturing different speeds of vehicles. I just did one recently last week where I caught over 5,700 cars going through the streets in the week, and I wanted to see what kind of speeds I was looking at. Also, what times some of these higher speeds were occurring. So I'm going to have a better idea next week, and I'll be providing that to the beat coordinator, as well as you can disseminate that to the board and post that so you guys can take a look at some of the stuff that I do. So I want to look at different angles of streets, direction, and stuff like that. So I'll be doing some more speed analysis and as I go throughout the weeks. As far as the school enforcement goes, we do have a couple of good schools here. I have been aggressively enforcing the area. I wrote at least 20 crossing guard violations last month alone, right over here at this crosswalk. So I've been helping Miss Kathy Franco out. She's a crossing guard. If you see her, you wave hi. She's a real sweet lady, and you can tell her that I say hi too. But you'll see me up there, and if you wave to me, I will wave back. I will wave back on the motorcycle. I have no problem. But you will see me up here cruising around and take a look. Even though you might be at work, I usually work during the daytime, but we do work nighttime. We do have 2 DUI motors. They'll be coming back relatively shortly. The DUI motors are nighttime motors. Believe it or not, I don't hide when it gets dark. We usually do work nights. So we will have 2 night motors that will work out to almost 3 o'clock in the morning, looking for DUI offenders. So you might see some DUI motor officers up here as well. We're the only agency on the west side of the county that does this. So we have a big DUI problem and we're addressing it. Other than that, if there aren't any major questions for me, if you have a question and you wanted to ask, you can email me. I'm pretty receptive and pretty responsive on my email. I encourage you to take a look at the 311 app. I'm sure that Officer McAlpine will take a look, will explain that, or if you've not heard of it, you can hit me up and I'll explain it to you too. It's a real resourceful app for things. Other than that, I appreciate it very much. Hope I spoke boldly to capture the camera. I'm not a microphone guy. Listen to karaoke.
See if this thing works.
Thanks for not taking up all my time, Mike. I'll get a little bit. Plays pretty good about keeping me on track here. So we'll jump right into the crime stats for September. There's 3 main focuses that we're having a problem with. I'm gonna talk about the 18 last. We're still having car burglars, and that's the car burglars where they're leaving the cars unlocked. So even though I go out and put flyers and put it on social media and I tell people to take their stuff out of the car, people are still leaving stuff in their car and they're leaving them unlocked. And it's, as you know, I'm gonna talk about a guy who was arrested recently just wandering the neighborhood, and that's all they're looking for. They're looking for the easy target. So tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your guests, take your stuff out of the car, put it in the house, and lock your car. Because that's 90% of our cases right there, just taking stuff out of the car. We have one garage burglary this month. We closed at 3 last month, so we still, again, leaving the garage open. It all goes back to the same plan. They're looking for an easy target. So if we keep our garages locked and closed, 99% of the time, we're going to be safe from the victimization of burglary or theft. And it's really your hardened criminals that are going to be targeting a specific location to actually break into a place. It does happen, but it's more often than you see the guy looking for the opportunity. So as you can see, most of our thefts of the vehicle are occurring along the apartments there. That's where I spend a lot of my time. Trying and having my overtime guys go up there, as well as my district car. So we do spend a lot of time there. Again, you know that it's high volume, a lot more opportunity there in an apartment than the rest of the neighborhood. It does happen in the neighborhood, as you can see, but suspects are pretty predictable. They like to focus on high density, higher probability, higher chance. So you can see that's why a lot of our thefts from cars are occurring from those apartment areas. So that whole area is just a big attraction because it's got a high density. And of course, as the farther you go north, you get less dense. Out near the top, you see those little spray can, little symbol things. All 3 of those, while they're labeled as vandalism, they're actually the 80s. You know, it's been on social media, it's been on Facebook. It's like one of those problems that time has never extinguished. And when I was a kid, they were doing it. As an adult, kids are doing it. And when our kids are having kids, their kids are going to be doing it. So it's going to take us getting lucky. Someone's going to have to see the kids driving around in front of the eggs and call us and get a license plate. That's how we're going to catch the culprits. It seems to be every other weekend they're doing it right now, so not every weekend, so sometimes like grasping straws, you're trying to capture it, and then you're out looking for them, and they're not there that week, so they're in another neighborhood doing it.
You have to say they're right by age.
Yeah, exactly. They gotta get their allowance. So, but it is a vandalism to throw an egg on a car, or if it damages a structure, so a lot of these kids get surprised when we arrest them for vandalism, like, well, it's just eggs. Well, eggs damage paint. Eggs break windows. Eggs vandalize property, so they think it's harmless, but it is a crime. So they cannot be throwing eggs. So when are our thefts occurring? Well, it's kind of hard to tell a little bit on this chart, but I'm going to focus on the egging first. It's that black bar you see on Saturday. All the incidents that we've been having where the kids have been egging for September were on Saturday. And then you look over here on time of day. This is the military hours. You see it starts around, actually, it looks like about 11 o'clock at night, and it goes on until about 2 in the morning. So they're out late at night when the rest of us are sleeping, and then they're just driving around, big mischievous. Now, the blue bars indicate all my thefts. So you can see that the thefts, it occurs all the time. It's a misnomer that it occurs at night. It occurs all the time. Actually, the most common day and time for burglary is actually Wednesday in the middle of the day, surprisingly enough. Most thefts occur during that time. And this chart is almost pretty indicative of the fact that Wednesday is missing completely, honestly. But you can see Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, at all hours of the day we're having thefts. And again, it's just people walking through the neighborhood. Sometimes they look normal, sometimes they look suspicious, and all they're doing is looking for that opportunity. Our breakdown for September, we had 5 thefts from unlocked cars. We had 3 license plates that were stolen. It's usually because they're putting their stolen license plate on a stolen car. They usually steal. We're pretty fortunate up here. We don't have a lot of stolen cars, but they're taking our license plates that full plate the car, so it's hard for police to recognize a stolen vehicle. We had one stolen purse that was left on a porch on accident. Person was in loading their house up, bringing their stuff and doing what they were supposed to do, and then put their purse down, open their door, and they forgot about it, and someone walking by saw it. And then we had one open garage burglary. The collections, as I said last month, you know, it's retail, it's always a big draft. I will tell you though that compared to last month, we were down 50% in our thefts. We had 17 shopliftings last month for August. This month we only had 8. Plus we had a shoplift turned robber, that's why you see the robbery out there. It's at the active store. The employee tried to recover the property and the suspect and the store employee began a tug of war, and that's considered robbery in the state of California. So it actually increases that misdemeanor shoplifting to a felony. As you can see, it's all through collections. Target's still my number 1, 5 shoplifting reports there, and one at one of the cell phone store there, or no, it's the African store. Active, we have 1 fight call right next to Copper Blues. We had a theft of services, that's basically diamondage. They didn't pay their bill at Yard House, and another unpaid bill at Famous Days. And then I had down at 24-Hour Fitness, we had 1 car that was burglarized there. It was left overnight. Military guy left his bag in the car, and the suspect went by, saw the military bag, wasn't unlocked, so I smashed the rear window, grabbed the bag, and took off with it. Someone stole a protein cookie, 24-Hour Fitness, and then another one, someone vandalized the locker room. So that's pretty much breaks up where our crime was for September. I'm not kidding about the protein cookies.
Just one?
Just
And if you can do the comparison, here's August, you can see the numbers are much bigger, 17 larcenies. We had a big drop, and I think most of this is attributed to the kids going back to school, so they're not out in collections, they're not on, you know, so they're not thinking about stealing this stuff. Big drop as compared to 2 months, and you generally see that in September, you see a drop, because everybody's back in school, everybody's working, season's changing. I want to talk a little bit about, before I run out of time here, neighborhood watch. We don't have a active set neighborhood watch schedule. We have a very active Facebook neighborhood watch. It spreads information all the time, which is great. This one particular neighbor though decided to take it upon herself to drive around the neighborhood because she was got her car broken into, and she actually saw this fine gentleman walking around in our neighborhood on a Sunday in the middle of the day. She called the police. They were she didn't contact, just stood back, called the police. Officers came out, contacted him, lo and behold, he's on probation. And once they searched him, they found he had burglary tools, he had a crowbar, a bunch of other stuff for breaking into cars and houses and everything else. And they also had a bunch of stolen credit cards out there. So one simple phone call, somebody didn't belong in the neighborhood, didn't recognize his neighbor, and that's all it took for us to go contact him and find out that he was up to no good. That one phone call probably prevented another theft from a vehicle or another just because that's all they do, they just walk the neighborhood. They may not be doing anything illegal at the time they're walking, but obviously they're casing not. So great job by the neighbor, great arrest. One of my problem houses here in the neighborhood, which I think is interacting with a lot of our problems, with theft. A couple officers got a phone call, anonymous, of people possibly using drugs in the park at Woodrow Park. And when the officers came by, lo and behold, 2 people were getting high in a car right next to the park, and they had drugs on them and drug paraphernalia. So they both went. The great thing is after those 2 went to jail, it got quieter in the neighborhood. So very, very good arrest, very good anonymous phone call. Again, that's just all it takes sometimes is just one phone call to the police, and we're going to send an all-shot to missing. We may not make an arrest, we might not have a crime, but if no one tells us about it, we're never going to discover it. There's more eyes in the neighborhood than there are police officers. So we depend on the neighborhood to help us out, try and catch some of the people up to no good. As Mike talked about, we have lots of social media stuff at 311. But I want to make sure everybody has a non-emergency dispatch number, 385-7740. I think if you Google it, it pops up too. It's also on our nextdoor.com and our Facebook. If something doesn't look right, just something's out of place, somebody you don't recognize from the neighborhood, feel free to call us. It doesn't hurt us to go by and talk to that person. And if they live in the neighborhood and just don't recognize, okay, well, thank you. Have a nice day. I'm Officer so-and-so. I appreciate you being cooperative with me. But if they're up to no good and they're out looking for a crime, then there's an opportunity to get them out of our neighborhood so they don't break or steal something. And there's my contact information. You know, anybody email me, call me. I'm pretty good about getting back between emails, phone calls, and Facebook posts. I eventually get back to everybody. Sometimes I get overwhelmed. I was obviously on vacation for half of September for the testing process, so it took me a little time to catch up, but I'm back now until my replacement comes, and then again, I'll be back in December to introduce them and give them, you'll get all their information.
Congratulate you on your promotion to sergeant.
Thank you.
All right.
So, after I can take a couple questions, otherwise you can send me an email, and feel free to answer you that way too.
Hi, we're new to the neighborhood. We moved here from Orange County end of July, so we want to get involved. Anyways, we're in the Riverpark area. My question to you is, I had an incident with some children in a car across the street, didn't like what I saw was going on. I did call the non-emergency number, and they were still out there for over an hour, and an officer did not show up. Suggestion?
Let me know about that so I can see what happened. When you go home, please don't show up. Make sure I get notified of the coordinator, because they may have come by and dispatch didn't put the call in wrong. The officer could not have done their job. They could have just drove by and not paid attention. It could have been a busy night too, because Friday and Saturday nights are high call volumes. But again, I want to know if there's calls pending in Riverpark. We have officers who work overtime out here specifically to handle the calls and keep the call wait time short, on top of officers who are assigned to the district normally. Raymond Sonis, he currently works the weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So he's middle of the day till like 2 in the morning. So he's pretty good. But if you're not getting a response, I would like to know about it. Keep my people accountable and make sure that the community members are getting their service. So again, if it's super busy, I can't promise we'll be right away, but we pride ourselves on this neighborhood keeping a low call responsible. You turn this over to Clay, then I'll give it to you.
Thank you.